So, no, my name is James Rouse. I'm the Commissioner for Planning and Community Development for City of Mount Vernon, and welcome to our phase two of our comprehensive plan community conversation series. So, we're really excited to be here. We'd like to thank Westchester Plaza management for hosting it this evening, the offering this community room space for us to work together. Um, who to no, sorry, I'm going to say something. So before we begin, I just want to let folks know who's here from the city of Mount Vernon leading this. So to my left, we have Deputy Commissioner Marlon Molina. Next to him, all of you have seen him so far, handing out snacks, is our grants administrator, Steve Lawrence. Working, it's very popular. Working this computer and the projector is our GIS, Geographic Information Systems Administrator, Amelia Zaino. In the back, working the other computer is our senior planner, Will Highland. Sitting up front is at the table is our executive secretary, Tamika Graham-Otara. Our budget specialist, Tiffany Nozzle, is here. And taking photos, running around, handling all the technical stuff is our communications expert, Jahi. So wave to Jahi. And yeah. So just want to give a little idea of what we'll be doing. So, I take it most folks know that we've been engaging this comprehensive planning process. It's our be our first, when we get to the end of this process, be first planned since 1968. So it's been a little bit since we've done the comprehensive plan. But how many folks here know what a comprehensive plan is? Or okay. Have folks participated so far in the comprehensive planning process? Yeah. Well, that was another comprehensive planning but at least you're familiar with it. So it's good that you're not coming in cold with it. So what we're going to do, as I mentioned, this is our phase two. If you were able to see it and participate in our last phase, first phase of this comprehensive planning process focused on a 50 block area of downtown. So it included part of this development, but it's really focused on just kind of development pressure, revitalizing downtown, and trying to create a a future for downtown because it's a place that has a vested interest. Okay, let's pause for a second. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is an opportunity for for us to address a few things. Number one, we're doing it in a phased approach because we wanted to get a level of community buy-in. Since it's been so long since we've done the comprehensive plan, it's important that everyone has a sense of, what a comprehensive plan is, what the process is going to be like, if we, to assure that we can gain trust with the process. So what we did with the first phase, we addressed, some concerns, just regarding, what we want to see downtown, how it's going to go, and okay. Sure. Okay. Downtown, and we produced a report that was adopted in January 2024, our downtown vision report. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to the city's website and go to the planning department page, and you'll be able to download a copy from there. But what we're going to be doing tonight and what these community conversations are all about is, our just kind of introduction to the neighborhoods, because phase two is going to focus more on the neighborhoods this time as opposed to downtown. So it's your community, what you want to see specifically in community, and how it relates to your neighboring communities and the city as a whole. Because even though, we're one city, we're a city of different communities. And so we really want to work with the tenants associations, homeowners associations, and other community groups to really see what's happening and what's trending in each different neighborhood. And so what we're going to be doing tonight is asking for your input. We're going to be, having some participation uh, through this throughout this evening. Just so you see like some color coded post-it notes. You see some poster boards, equally color coded. So we're just going to have some, participatory activities here. And we're going to be, give you an opportunity to walk around, discuss amongst your table and walk around and discuss each topic that you want to talk about. But before we do that, I'm going to hand it over to Deputy Commissioner Molina just to talk about how we're going to do this tonight and just acknowledge some community agreements.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So we're going to make sure that everyone gets a chance to speak. And for that, we're going to need a few rules that we hope you'll follow. So this is a community agreement. We want to be respectful. That means that, we want to challenge ideas, not each other. Step up, step back. So what that means is, if you're someone who normally participates, great, but also step back so that you give an opportunity for other people to participate as well. Be present, share from your experience. How do you experience Mount Vernon? How you would like to experience Mount Vernon. One mic. So we have a wireless mic. So whoever's holding the mic is the person that is speaking. So we try to keep the conversation down. You'll have an opportunity later on to have a conversation with each other regarding the different themes. But while we're doing the exercise, we ask that you give your neighbors an opportunity to speak, and don't speak in the background. And then, as I said before, speak from your own experience and keep your comments brief. What we will encourage you to do is write a lot, because that is the key to get your ideas into the draft of the comp plan. So the key is for you to write your comments, and at some point we'll call different people who want to share some of what they're thinking. So are we okay with those rules? Great, thank you very much. So Commissioner asked a question earlier, if you had experience, if you had attended a comprehensive plan in the past. So raise your hand just so that we give your neighbors an idea of, who you are or what experience you have here in Mount Vernon. Raise your hand if this is the first time you're participating in a comprehensive plan. Okay, great. Good to see you. Welcome. And raise your hand if you lived in Mount Vernon for more than 5 years. Okay. Have you lived here less than 5 years? Okay. Do you own a business in Mount Vernon? Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. So those are the ground rules. Commissioner is coming back to give you an overview of sort of like the comp plan. And then we're going to come back and give you more instructions on how we're going to go ahead and capture all of your thoughts and ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Molina. So let's start with the basics. Even though some of you have participated in the comp plan before, I'm just going to go over what is a comprehensive plan. So a comprehensive plan can be a few things, but what we're doing is we're making this comprehensive plan citywide. So it's really creating a vision for any type of municipality, community, neighborhood, region, just that creates a vision for that community that's community-led for a period of time. What we're doing, what we hope to achieve with this comp plan is create a vision for Mount Vernon over the next 10 years. And the idea is that this is not just going to be a 10-year plan. This will be the first of a series of plans that are going to be updated for 10 years. So the work that we do here tonight and over the course of, the year and what we did in 2023 is creating the framework for what we're going to be doing 10 years after that, and 10 years after that, and 10 years after that. So because the city, we're looking to see how the city can grow, how we can maintain, improve quality of life, how we want to see, there's been a lot of pressure on the city to, build, 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 develop, develop, develop. But, unfortunately, it's been, people coming with a project saying, I will do this for you to get my project done. What do you think? And really, it should be that folks come in saying, hey, we saw that you have a few ideas. We saw that you had a plan available. We think we can help. We think we can be part of this vision. But getting to that vision is going to require the city to, create a firm identity. And that's really important because we all have different visions and different ideas of what we think about the city, how we want the city to be, what we feel about our neighborhoods. But, this is why we come together. And I always try to emphasize, we don't come together with our ideas and our visions to compromise. We come to collaborate because not everyone's going to be able to get exactly what they want, but we come here to talk amongst ourselves, to take the best ideas and see what we agree on the most. And those are the most important ideas. Those are the most important principles that we have moving forward. And what's going to happen from that is when we take that and we work with both internally with our consultant team, is trying to do what's best and do what's best. That's feasible. Pie in the sky ideas are great, and we definitely pursue them. But it's taking all that information and trying to come up with something that's doable and doable within the next 10 years. We're looking to make Mount Vernon a healthier, greener, more sustainable city. And we'll be talking a little bit about what that means later on. And, this is a really important process that has achieved some success so far. The first phase, the adoption of it, it may not be the normal approach going through these comp plans, but it's a success because, as some have participated before, we've tried this a couple of times and didn't get across the finish line. And so we've at least, did one leg of it. So we're passing the baton. And so right now we're coming around the stretch and we can see it on the horizon. Once we get done with this, we'll do an environmental process just so it's acceptable to the state, be fully adopted by city council. And then we'll have a plan for the next 10 years going into the 2030s. And so that's important not only for everyone here, but your children, nieces, nephews, friends, and such to help create that vision. So I want to talk a little bit about some changes that we've made. So as I mentioned, we hired a consultant team to help us because, City of Mount Vernon has limited resources. And also, we don't want this to come off as our plan, staff, because too often when, government does stuff, it just comes off as like, oh, this is what the government is doing for us, as opposed to kind of like the government's coming here just to help facilitate. And really, it's the community's plan. And the consultant team, who has, a lot more resources, can help with us synthesize that information and guide us. So we got through the downtown vision report and we weren't entirely too happy with the consultant team. The process, a lot of the legwork, a lot of folks did not see the consultants out and about here. And so we decided to make a shift with our lead consultant. What we're doing right now is we're hoping to keep our sub-consultants aboard who did a good job. They put their noses in their books, did their research, which is what they were supposed to do. So what we're doing right now is trying to hire a new lead consultant and someone to help us with the outreach because you've seen our faces and, my team is fantastic here, but, it is a lot of work. And so we need some help. We did not want to lose momentum. So if you're going to ask, well, where are they now? It's just like, we're hoping to get to the end and bring them aboard within the next month or so, but we didn't want to lose this energy. We didn't want to lose that energy. We took a break for the holidays. We actually started phase 2 in the fall, but we took a break for the holidays. We gave it an extra month to see if we can get that underway. But, we can't let 2-3 years pass before, we complete a comp plan. So we just wanted to get out. We can gather data. We can listen, can see what the concerns are. And so when the consultant team comes aboard, they already have something to start with, to work with. If we need to make adjustments to our outreach process, we will. But, that's how we're going about it. So one question people ask is how we're paying for it. So City Council has put aside $350,000 in our contract services, most of which will go towards hiring a comp plan consultant. We've paid out about 60-something% of that already, but we're also looking for opportunities to fundraise. And so we successfully got a grant the year before, which helped pay for the first phase, a $75,000 grant from New York State Empire State Development. And so they just allowed us to draw down that money to help us reimburse us. And we're going to be probably going back to them to see if they could help with this phase and as well as foundations and other government support. So now that, we're in this process, I just want to talk a little bit about, what we've done so far. So in terms of the outreach, we've hosted 9 community conversations in the first phase like this. And actually in phase 2, this is our 6th one. We did 3 in the fall. We've done 3 in the spring. So even though we've tweaked this a little bit, we've had 15 conversations like this, with community residents. We hosted topic-specific roundtables, focused on the business community and the retail, the real estate community, because residents aren't the only stakeholders here. There are landlords, there are property owners, there are commercial tenants. And so it's important to hear their voice, because if we want something, we need to make sure we're all aligned and see, what we can do, if it's feasible, and what kind of, advocacy we need to do with these stakeholders to get, what citizens want. With our consultants, we held 2 large public workshops, which were taking this information and just doing a more robust, little longer session that covered more base than this, but the information here helped advise those workshops. We have an advisory committee. Our advisory committee is made up of 40-something folks who help advise us. First phase, we had 3 meetings and 6 thematic sessions, so we worked on some more topical stuff with them. And we had, certain interactive things like both digital and paper surveys. We had a mapping tool, and, thanks to Amelia, we've kind of tenfold increased our mapping capabilities in less than a year. So it's been fantastic. And we also interviewed key stakeholders to get through that process. So we're pretty proud of where we are right now. But, the work is not done. The work is not done. So we're going to be working with all of you, with the advisory committee, with the mayor, with city council, and other stakeholders to get across that finish line. And so what I want folks to consider right now, it'll probably take, to the end of the year. Our community engagement we have set up through June. If we hire this community outreach consultant, we'll see if we'll do more focused groups, kind of like we need to reach out to youth. We need to reach out to, seniors. We need to reach out to, just kind of populations that we have been a little tough to reach. So we might have some more of these throughout the summer or fall before we finish up. But some things I want folks to consider is, now that we're talking about your neighborhoods and community, it's just like, what kind of green spaces are important to you? You want to see more parks, more playgrounds, more greenways, more bikeways, greater connectivity. Think about the kind of services you'd like to see. What do we have? What do we need? What do we need to build towards? And sometimes that's just advocacy. Sometimes it can be community led. Just we hear a lot of times where, cafe, where, so let's talk about like what we're prioritizing, how we can achieve that. How do we make our streets safer? One thing that we talked about in other community conversations was a concept called complete streets, which is essentially just, access for all. It's not only cars, it's also priority for pedestrians, priority for cyclists, priority for, simple thing as like, does this corner have a curb cut so I can get down into the street to cross the street? That is a big problem in a lot of places. And so it's really kind of looking to see how we do that. How do we prevent, this corner's flooded? How do we prevent that? Building rain gardens, just, that capture that water instead of, you have to slosh through a puddle just to get to the supermarket. And how do we make our city more resilient? We, We've had a lot of storms recently. We had a surprise earthquake. We've had things like that. How do we become a more resilient city and address those issues? And so at the end of the year, we're going to have a nice, hefty document to work from. We'll try to make it digestible, not too much planner speak, you know, make it too wonky and whatnot. And, it all starts here. These are the conversations that we start with to get to that end point, just so when folks come to Mount Vernon, they want to do business with Mount Vernon, all of y'all can be like, check out the plan, then come talk to us. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Amelia to do just a little activity, or just to get our blood going.
All right. I am super anxious about microphones. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. So we're going to transfer over to the part of the evening where we want to hear from you. But first, we're going to exercise our writing muscles. So the first thing that we're going to do together is a little bit of an icebreaker. At your table, everyone should see a plain white piece of paper. They may have holes in it. We are being sustainable. We're recycling paper. No paper goes to waste here. Everybody's got their paper? Raise your paper high in the air so I can see it. Amazing. So we would like to know a few things about you. Not highly invasive, but just some getting to know you questions. Question number one, where do you live? You don't, and yeah, who lives here? Everybody? Okay, in this building or this complex? Okay, so it's a good mix. So yeah, tell us where you live. You don't have to get very specific if you don't feel comfortable doing so. You can put your neighborhood, you can put your cross street, you can put just your general block. And then the next question is, what does your neighborhood mean to you? You can choose 3 words to describe your neighborhood. Again, you don't have to be more specific than you feel comfortable being, but we just want to get a feel for where everyone's coming from. And that'll help us understand our audience and the community that we're working with. I'm going to take about 5 minutes for that. Yes, please. You don't have to put your name on it. If you do, that's fine. Yeah, you can talk to each other. That'd be fun too. Make new friends. And when you're done, just give me a big thumbs up so I can track time. Give a few more moments. Yeah, just those 2 questions. All right, so give me a big thumbs up if you're all done with your icebreaker. Anybody need a few more moments? All right, so staff are gonna come around and collect those white pieces of paper. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you, Amelia. So that exercise was to get you on the mindset of writing down your ideas. This next exercise is going to be 20 minutes long. But before we do that, I want to acknowledge our Director of Sustainability for the City of Mount Vernon, Mr. Shane Brooks, here to the left. Thank you for coming. So now that we're thinking about, so that was sort of like a open-ended question, how do you feel about your neighborhood? Now, this next exercise, we're going to get more specific, and you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to have, so this is going to be sort of like a rapid round, 2 minutes per theme. But after we go through all 6 subjects, you're going to get 5 minutes to focus on the subject that you're passionate about, or the subject that you know about, or the subject that upsets you the most, or the subject that excites you the most. Because remember, today we want to hear challenges or opportunities, problems or solutions. And remember, once we get your information, we're going to give it to the consultant, and then they're going to synthesize it, as the commissioner said. So there's a guide in your on your table. So housing, you're going to use the pink Post-it. Open space, you're going to use the green Post-it. Transportation, you're going to use the yellow Post-it. Sustainability, resiliency, you're going to use the blue Post-it. Wellness and community safety, you're going to use the purple Post-it. And then economic development, you're going to use the orange Post-it. So as I said before, this is an opportunity for you to kind of, really think about, some of these issues and put the information on paper. Remember, the best way to get your ideas, your complaints, your challenges, your opportunities into the comp plan draft is by writing it down. So let's go. So the first subject that we're going to do is housing, and phase 2, as the commissioner said, is focusing in the neighborhoods. So think about, how you experience, Mount Vernon, when you go outside, because we consider this sort of like the downtown area, but we're thinking about the neighborhoods, if you go towards East Lincoln, if you go towards Sanford Boulevard, how do you see the retail corridors that are not necessarily 4th Avenue or Gramerton Avenue below East Lincoln? So just think about a little bit broader, when you do, because I saw folks raising their hand that they live in this area, but we're thinking about the different parts of the neighborhoods in different parts of the city. So in terms of housing, housing types, affordability, density, how do you see Mount Vernon either being developed or being preserved in the different neighborhoods that you're familiar with? Think about Wilson Woods, Hunts Woods, what's the park down? Brush Park. Right, but Wilson Woods. No, but that's, what is it? No, there's, yeah. But anyway, so start now. Housing, comments, opportunities, challenges, problems, solutions. So take 2 minutes to write down your answer on housing.
And staff will come around and collect your Post-its, so you don't have to get up and put it on poster boards. We'll do that for you. So no worries.
Yeah, that was yours. That was mine. Housing is pink. Housing is the pink post. All right, so we have another 45 seconds to go. And you know what? If you write fast and you want to do more than one poster, you're welcome to do that. Challenges and opportunities. All right, 20 seconds. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So raise your hand if you have a comment so the staff can pick up the Post-it. So next, we're gonna gather your thoughts on open space. So parks, trees, greenways, even vacant lots. What are your thoughts on, what should happen with green space, open space? Have you experienced green space in a different way in another town, in another city? And you would like to experience that here in Mount Vernon. So ideas on parks, open space, green space, greenways, vacant lots. Oh, and the color for that is green. Green, yes. Yes, that's Remember, ideas, challenges, opportunities. All right, we got another 45 seconds to go on this one. Green space, open space, vacant lots, challenges, ideas. What do you want to see in these spaces? And think about, if you don't have green space around where you live, you can write that down as well. All right, we're down to the last 15 seconds. So let's wrap that one up. Like I said, this is going to be sort of like the rapid round. So the next topic is transportation. And when you think about transportation, remember we said, how do you experience different parts of the city, the different neighborhoods? So do you experience it as a pedestrian, a cyclist, or a car owner? Challenges and opportunities. What do you want to see? How do you experience transportation in Mount Vernon? Yes, that is yellow. Transportation challenges, opportunities, problems, solutions. So I'm hearing side conversation here. Transportation could be public transportation. How do you get around? Challenges and opportunities. So All right. Okay, 2 minutes are up. Raise your hand if you have a sticky note that you want the staff to pick up. All right, so we're moving on to the next. So remember, after we go through all 6, you have an opportunity to spend 5 minutes on one topic that you want to continue to write on, or 2 topics that you want to continue to write on. So the next topic is sustainability and resiliency. And for that, you're going to use the blue sticky note. And you know, with sustainability, we're thinking about environmental health, climate change, you know, challenges and opportunities. So climate change, you know, heavy rains, snowstorms, flooding. No. All right, and we want to welcome our Recreation Commissioner, Ms. Walker Pickney. Thank you for joining us. Oh, yes, yes, thank you so much. So we're talking about sustainability and resiliency, environmental health, climate change. You know, what are some things that the city can do? And, you know, recycling, what's something that landlords can do? What's something that residents can do? Okay. And also, you know, when as we're gonna hold questions for a little later, because remember, so let me repeat what she said. So, you know, if you live up on a hill, if you live in a flat area, you know, what happens? How do you do that in those types of places? So we want you to speak from your own experience. Remember, we're writing all of this stuff down. So if you live on a hill, if you live on an area that gets flooded, you know, what do you want to see? You know, what kind of planning, what kind of intervention do you want to see? But you need to write it down. And we actually have about 30 seconds left.
And just quickly on that, it's just like you mentioned, like hill or flat area. Like a flat area would definitely be more worried about flooding. A hill more about erosion, and like tree loss because things wear away. But also like think about like green buildings, electric vehicles, solar panels. If any of that stuff you're interested in, you can put that down as well.
All right. So we're going to wrap up the sustainability and resiliency. And we're going to move on to the wellness and community safety. So wellness and community safety. So that is about your health. You know, what can we do as a city to increase opportunities for better health for our residents? In terms of addressing violence, you know, what can we do to address violence? And, you know, this violence is experienced differently by, you know, seniors, youth, families. So just think about, you know, ideas and challenges as it relates to public safety. Yes.
Getting off the curb, getting off the sidewalk in the middle of a block, right?
So,
Our house here, right here.
Yeah.
Is the center of a block. The only way I can get off with my wheelchair is to go to the corner, one or the other. There needs to be something.
so
We could step down off the curb without, you know, climbing out of our wheelchair or whatever.
thank you for that comment. We want you to write it down. Please write down your comments. And this is the purple. The wellness and community safety is the purple Post-it. Challenges and opportunities. Do you see a problem? Do you see a problem as it relates to addressing violence? Do you see an opportunity? Have you seen something in the news in another city that you would like Mount Vernon to do? All right, so we have another minute on that topic. All right. Please raise your hand if you have one of the purple stickies so that we can pick them up. So I know this feels a little bit rushed, but it is hopefully getting your adrenaline going. We want to capture your ideas. 30 seconds, 10 seconds, I should say. So raise your hand if you have if you still have the purple stickies. All right. So the next and last topic is economic development. So we're thinking economic development in terms of types of businesses, job opportunities, workforce development, commercial and industrial. So when I started, I said that we're going to be looking at different neighborhoods. So, so we have an industrial neighborhood south of Sanford Boulevard. We have commercial corridors in different areas, Sanford Boulevard, Gramerton up in Fleetwood. I think there's Fifth Avenue. Well, that's the downtown area, but we want you to think about, how you experience the other areas. So, do you get out to some of the other shopping districts in Mount Vernon? But again, write down challenges and opportunities. Did you see Mount Vernon differently 20 years from, the business is different 20, 30 years from now? Do you want those businesses to come back? So be specific, be very specific. Be specific about what services you're looking for in terms of retail, commercial services. And that color is orange. That's the Post-it. The Post-it that we're using for that is orange. All right, challenges and opportunities in terms of economic development. So we've gone through all 6 themes. Some of you said that you needed more time. So, all right, so now we're going to start collecting the orange Post-its. Raise your hand if you have one ready. All right, so we're going to spend 5 minutes. So now we're going to give you 5 minutes for you to focus on the issue that you're most passionate about, or the one that you upsets you the most, or the one where you see the biggest opportunity for Mount Vernon. So I'm going to read them off again. And the first one is housing types, affordability, density. The second is open space as it relates to parks, trees, greenways, vacant lots. The next one is transportation for pedestrians, cyclists, car owners, public transportation. And then the next one is sustainability, resiliency. That's environmental health, climate change. The next one is wellness and community safety. That's dealing with health, addressing violence. And we just did economic development. So we, hold on. Yes?
Senior living, come under.
So that could be housing, or it could be wellness and community safety. So for seniors, she asked the question, where does senior services issues come under? You can apply it. I mean, it could, all of these issues cut across different lines. So all right, so we have 3.5 minutes left on this exercise. So please keep writing. Huh? Yes. So just pick any. Actually, you know what? Do stick to the stuff the color paper so that when we collect it, we're able to. Oh, you know what? Just write on it the topic. So if it's housing, write housing on top. If it's transportation, so this way we know. Please go ahead. Go ahead. We want you to write a lot. All right, we have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. All right. 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Challenges and opportunities. Problems, solutions. And if you want to be specific about the exact location where you see this issue, please go ahead. So as we wrap up this exercise, I want to point out that transportation is in the corner where we walked in. Economic development is here next to the air conditioner. Sustainability and resiliency is next to the other air conditioner. And then we have community safety, open space, and housing. So the reason I'm pointing that out because the next exercise that we're going to do is we're going to give you an opportunity for you to speak to your neighbors. Like go to the station where you're interested in learning more or you're interested in providing additional input, additional information. You can talk to each other, you can ask the staff questions. And what we're hoping to do is for you to react, to say, you know what, I like this idea or this idea needs more information. So we're going to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how we're doing with time. And what you can do, so every 5 minutes, I'm going to give you I'm going to let you know that 5 minutes are up. So this way you can switch stations. If you're passionate about one particular one, you can stay there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you decide. So I want to thank you for providing your input in this exercise. So we're going to move on to the next exercise, which is, like I said before, it's going to last between 20 and 30 minutes. So select the station that you want to have additional conversation, deeper conversation. And again, bring your posters with you because you can actually continue to write and react to what you see on the board. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. But we want that input. So having said all that, let's take the next, like I said, 20, 30 minutes to go to the station, see what your neighbors have written, and let us know if you agree or disagree or if you want to add additional ideas. So you can get up. Yes, please, go ahead. All right. So, yep. 60 seconds left for this session. All right, so that's 5 minutes. You can stay at the station if you're having a lively conversation, you're welcome to stay at the station where you are now, or you can switch to another station. Remember, we have transportation, economic development, sustainability, open space, safety, and housing. All right, so we're gonna do another 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes. If you want to switch stations, please do. All right, we have another 2 minutes left before we go back to our seats. All right, we're gonna make our way back to our seats. We're gonna make our way back to our seats. And actually, we're gonna give you an opportunity to report back on the conversations that you've had, comments that you wanted to make, questions that you wanted to ask. So we're going back to our seats. And as I said before, you can report back on the conversation you had at one of the stations, make comments that you've been holding back or that you wanted to share. So yeah, so we're gonna take 10 minutes just to listen to you. So to give you an opportunity to share with your neighbors any thoughts, any comments. You can report back on anything that you heard at the stations. Who'd like to go first? Okay, first here and then over there. Oh, keep your comments to 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Remember, we're trying to get to everybody. So we're supposed to leave here at 8 and it's
Hello.
7:42.
Hello, my name is Dolores Mackay. I've been here since concept, and plus I sit on the mayor, advisory board for this comprehensive plan. It's just two concerns that I'm about. I know y'all had to get, have to get new consultants, being involved in my community, born and raised here for over 48 years. I'm just concerned about, we're always promising a bouquet of flowers and wind up majority of times what I have seen with weeds for real. And I'm just concerned about, that 60% that y'all paid out the money for these consultants. Are y'all have them in court? Because they didn't do what they supposed to have done with this comprehensive plan. Do y'all have them in court?
Met with them and we're trying to avoid court, but they had asked for a lot more. And so we are finalizing those negotiations right now. And just city council has made it clear that we will not get taken to town on that. So question back there?
Am I doing this right?
Yes, you are.
I was at CVS.
Yeah.
Stopped a police, there were a couple cops standing in front of the store. Oh, this is better?
Yes.
Okay. I said, why don't you enforce the traffic laws? Why are people blasting radios? Why are they running over old people as they're trying to cross the streets? They're very reckless
Mhm.
and nothing is done. You can't see cops. That's the first time I saw a cop in a couple of years.
Mhm.
And they said, they were told not to pursue. There's no governance. The people are just, they're driving very dangerously. There's about 4 or 5 motorcycles that tear down Ramerton going to Fourth Avenue almost daily.
Mhm.
And if you're trying to get across the street, they don't care. They just go like right near you.
So
It's ongoing. It's not like it just happened once. It's all the time.
well, that is more of an enforcement issue and usually not part of a comp plan process.
It's a
There are
safety issue.
strategies. There are strategies you can use, such as, speed humps or kind of bump outs that you can slow things down. And, strategizing, there are enforcement, like we can include it in that because that's, yeah. But I'm just saying there are additional strategies that we can say that are concrete in the comp plan that would, help in these matters that can stop that because yeah, ever since the pandemic, especially, it's been out of control. It has been. Next.
I'm gonna ask a question on the economic development. Are you hearing me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when it's here, it doesn't
Okay,
come out,
so
but
I'm
out
gonna
here.
ask a question on the economic development.
Sure.
Now, I was having a conversation with a gentleman over there and I was like, are jobs compatible? Are we doing more to attract like compatible positions for the future of Mount Vernon? And we know that there are high paying jobs with, PhD degrees. What about trades?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting enough, there is a fair amount of trade jobs here, particularly, down near the Hutchinson River where it borders the Bronx and Eastchester. And we're working trying to be able to maintain that and keep that. And diversifying your working population is extremely important. The benefit of being in this region is that, there is a diversified workforce as opposed to, quote unquote, company towns that were in a lot of other states. And so, one part of this is an economic development strategy. And one thing we were looking for downtown is, some folks or around here, it's like some folks are concerned about density, but the thing is you bring in more people and you provide a range of incomes and a range of opportunities. It's making sure that it's, mixed use that provides different services, both in terms of, all in terms of office, retail, light industrial, because those are kind of some of the trades that you're talking about. And too often industrial and trade jobs get pushed out because it doesn't bring as much income, but they provide an important resource and, provides an important entryway, into the workforce. They call it sometimes unskilled labor, but you learn a lot of skills that you can work your way up. So diversification of the workforce is, something that we have talked about, especially during the first phase.
We're doing one
Wait.
mic.
Yeah.
Ms. Mack,
Miss Matt.
Ms. Mack, Ms. Mack, we're doing one mic. So raise your hand if you have a comment. Anybody else?
We were talking,
It's on.
we were talking about housing. And one of the questions I have with all the new construction going on in Mount Vernon, why doesn't the city mandate that some of those new buildings be condos? Why are they all rentals? Because it's like Mount Vernon has become a transient community. Nobody stays, nobody has a reason to invest. Everybody lives here for a little bit and then they move on. They come and they move on, and that's not how you build a city. It's
Mhm.
not how you create a community. And people who want to live here, I mean, it's just, the rents are outrageous. And if you have the opportunity to buy, you can't because there's nothing being built here that you can buy. Everything is rentals.
Yeah.
And I would think that the city has some say as to what's being built.
Well, that's one reason why we're doing this comp plan, and it has been a big part of the conversation. And we do have a interested developer here who we discussed affordable homeownership with, because it's Mount Vernon's, like, one of its names is City of Homes, but a lot of the housing stock is getting older and requires a lot of upkeep. And the way the market is going, if you're a first-time home buyer, it's hard to just, I'm young, I'm entering the market and buying a $600,000-$700,000 home because that's where it's at. And so looking more at co-ops and condos as an option is key. And I was on actually a panel this morning talking about that, because actually it was with a bunch of brokers, and they were asking just like, how do we get more of these units? Because they were saying, she was like, I'm a broker, and she's like, I feel caught in the middle. I can't buy a home in the communities I want. And so it's difficult to promote particularly condos, because unless there's, kind of government subsidies involved, it's hard to keep it quote unquote affordable. But, they are a more affordable option. But since there is a quote unquote housing crisis, housing crunch, New York City metropolitan area has historically been more of a rental region than other regions around the country. And so when folks come in to develop and they just say, oh, there's so many people still in New York City, even after the pandemic, and people are moving out, that there's more of a rental demand. But we're like, there's a rental demand because that's the only option that's really being offered. You build more multifamily cooperatives and condos, and you make it affordable. And granted, affordability, when folks talk about affordability, people are like, oh, you mean low income? And it's just like, no. Affordability, you can get subsidies from the state, going up to 130%, 165% of area median income. So the area median income, the formula that's worked on, like if you're a family of four, and your median income, for Westchester County is 151,000. 151,000. The rest of the region, it's 94,000. So, you can build for, two income, households, have a good job and get that, and still get the subsidies to build that. It's trying to push and change the narrative. And it's a difficult, because quick and easy, when there's a housing crunch and someone's coming in to do quick and easy, people are like, well, we got to address the housing crunch, so let's do that. So you're on point with that, and that's something we have spoken about.
I don't think that's the reason why people are not staying in Mount Vernon.
Mhm.
It's because it's not a hospital here. It's a hospital here, but it's not viable. We need a hospital here in this place. I worked at Mount Vernon Hospital for 43 years. When I first came here, we had a good hospital. Now we have nothing. We only have 1 or 2 floors open. So we need a hospital here for the merchants that bring, when they have their staff. Where they gonna take them? Go into New Rochelle? We don't even have an ambulance service here.
Yeah.
When I was sick, I had to they had to come from Yonkers to get me to New Rochelle. And that doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely. Hospitals can be anchors of a community. Like, I grew up right across from, the first Montefiore building. That's where I grew up, on Gun Hill Road. And it's not only just for access, but it's, it's an economic development engine, because it brings people into a neighborhood. It helps your stores, helps, and it provides a comfort. It's like, I'm a resident. One reason my family moved there when, my family was off the boat was just like, oh, there's a hospital nearby. So, improving services like that is crucial and key, whether it's a hospital or more clinics. It's greater access.
How you doing? My name is Dennis. I just wanted to address the housing situation that you spoke about. I work in New Jersey, and I work for Verizon as a FiOS technician, installing internet and all that. And I can pretty much tell you that the model for co-op and condominiums is done. Everything they're building now is luxury rentals, because they want all the money. And if you want a co-op or a condo, you're gonna have to get whatever is existing. I do installs every day in every building, and they're huge. They're all called luxury rentals. It might be a title, but they're all luxury rentals, and that's what they're doing. It has, you know, the government can do whatever, try to do whatever they can, but it's the builders and the developers that are going with this model, and that's what they're pushing.
And that is true. And one thing we try is like, even when folks want to do rentals, especially if they have a larger piece of land, they said, we're really trying to push the notion like, no, you want to build like 3 buildings, but like you can squeeze home ownership into one of those buildings. You know, it's just, if you want to build those rentals, just give the option. Like the balance is never going to be perfect. It's not, we're not in an era where that balance is going to be perfect, but you know, don't make the numbers more disparate. You know, just kind of like build along with, just so there are those opportunities that if you want to build, you give options for folks. Any more questions?
Just want to address one thing that's very serious to me that keeps. Our streets are horrible. Yeah, Gramerton Avenue, I don't know how many times I've. Oh, I'm saying Gramerton Avenue is a horror, right? The streets are all with, you know, all holes in them, right? The walker, which I never thought I'd use, but I'm here at that point now at 88, I have to use the walker. And when I walk, it shakes and it flies away from me and everything like that. That's a very serious thing. I'm afraid to go out because I'm afraid I'm gonna get hurt on my own street, right? And the other thing, cars coming into Mount Vernon, coming down Third Avenue, Fifth Avenue, what it can do to your car, you know, those streets need to be repaired. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And one reason, and this is not an excuse, it's just happening because we're replacing our sewers, you know, a lot of the streets are getting dug up. And so we're trying to expedite that as much as possible. So doing that, you know, cut and fill, not doing it quick enough, but there is, you know, and it's not only Mount Vernon, it's like, you know, I go to a lot of communities in the regions and, you know, it's the upkeep of the streets is not as much a priority anymore. And so, I mean, but that's important to highlight because that is not only transportation, but it is safety. It is definitely safety.
So we're coming upon 8 o'clock. Any last comment? One last comment?
Thank you.
Oh. We have a new comment.
Awesome.
Hi. One of the things that I was talking about with regard to economic development and businesses is, I know in our area downtown, one of the things that we really haven't had a good replacement for is when Maria's closed across the way, because that was a great spot to have breakfast, lunch, you know, sit down, meet your family, just, you know, basic food. But, you know, where you could kind of sit and share a meal with your folks, and it was convenient location. I know they have a food truck, and I know we have McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, but really a nice little, you know, breakfast spot. Listen, if IHOP or Waffle House came to Mount Vernon, there'd be people lined up around the corner trying to make a reservation, because we really, you know, we've got the Columbus Diner way on one corner.
Yep.
But I think in terms of an opportunity, as far as a business that would really do well, there's really not something that kind of meets that in-between sweet spot that I really see anywhere, you know, in the downtown area that people know about that. And I think people really would come. So just a thought.
Absolutely. You know, there's you know, we're fancifying things here, but a topic that, you know, buzzword that's been really popular recently, and because of the pandemic, something called a third space. And it was just kind of like, I got my work, I got my home, but where's my third space? You know, because everyone needs just that space. And, you know, I always say, you know, every great neighborhood needs a good diner. And it's not only a diner, it's whatever place that you're comfortable with. It could be a cafe, it could be a Cuchi Fritos place, it could be whatever, you know, whatever you can go to, you can gather and makes you feel comfortable. That's extremely important. And you're right, it's, you know, it's not, you know, as prevalent, especially downtown. You know, you got a couple of spots, but they're, you know, not necessarily, you know, lots of, you know, diversified options. And that's important. And that's one thing we got to highlight. And part of that, you know, some depending on the landlord, some landlords just, you know, that building's been in their family for generations and they're just happy to collect rent. But it's just like if you are creative, you come up with a list, you offer the right incentives to get that change, and you have the right people who have the right energy and motivating who want to help transform, you know, that's when you can create those kind of special spaces which are important into every community. One last one, or you good?
Okay, one.
Yeah.
Last comment.
I would just like to say about the lady that spoke about the motorcycles on Gramerton. I want to speak about the four-wheel off-trail that they're not even, that's supposed to be illegal in the city. They're riding down Gramerton, they're popping these big wheelies. I watched two of them almost have an accident on Gramerton because he was popping a wheelie, he hit a bump, and God forbid if there's other cars or children, summertime is getting ready. You know, there's gonna be a lot of children out of school, a lot of people out in the street, and Gramerton is a busy street. We can't have that on that street like that.
Thank you. Again, that's, you know, an enforcement issue. I said we have, you know, some measures to put in that we could do, you know, just some traffic calming, some diversion techniques that we can physically do, but, you know, just speaking with, you know, police force and public works to help implement that, you know, will be key. So, you know, we have to wrap up because we're approaching 8 o'clock, but, you know, again, just first of all, thank all of you for coming out tonight. You know, give yourself a round of applause. We're going to be keeping these community conversations going through June. So if you want to attend more, please feel free. If you have friends who were not able to make this one, but can make some of the next ones, that would be great. The next one will be on May 1st at Mount Olivet Apostolic Church. It's going to be hosted by the Cambridge Gardens Neighborhood Association. And then we have one scheduled on May 14th, which we're finalizing the location right now. And we're going to have at least one more in June. And then we'll be talking about what other kind of outreach activities that we'll be doing. But what we're going to do right now is just take all your information, synthesize it, gather it, you know, put it into a document. And then I said, once we get our consultant secured in the board, we're going to be working with them just to look at the information, analyze it, you know, try to transform it, make it, you know, make it visual, make it documentable, and something that we can fully adopt as policy when we get to the end of this process. But, you know, just again, thank you for all of this. We just appreciate your energy. We appreciate your participation, and we hope to see you again soon. So y'all have a great night.